Good evening, y'all. 10 hard lessons I learned after making 30 videos in 30 days. So, I just went on a rampage. I got really connected to my mission and I decided to make a lot of videos consistently every day. And I've made decisions like this before and I've probably made commitments hundreds of times that I've failed. And before I jump into the 10 things, what I want to say is consistency matters significantly. But in order to become a consistent person, we have to consistently show up after being inconsistent. So what that means is you will fail. You will uh, not do the things that you said you were going to do. You will fail on your commitments. You will not do as many push-ups as you were going to do. You may not send that email sequence out that you were supposed to. You may not start that business, and you may start doing all those things and not finish them, which is a problem I've had. The key is being consistent, even if you're inconsistent. If you start being consistent enough, then you'll just be a consistent person. So even when you fall off the horse, you're consistent in getting back on the horse. This is what we call frequency. In order to improve your frequency, if you've heard this in all the woo-woo groups, the higher your frequency, the better your life can be, right? Well, how do you raise your frequency? Well, be more frequent in having a positive frequency. Be more frequent in changing your negative thoughts. All of these things are important. So let's start with number one of what I learned in this 30 days. When you're fully seen and you're showing up as yourself, shame and guilt can surface. For me, they surface significantly. So putting myself out there every single day for 30 days, and by the way, it's shooting videos like this where I don't have a script. Like this is somewhat scripted, but I'm going off the top of the head. And through this vulnerability, negative emotions will come up. The reason why I didn't like being vulnerable in the past was because there were negative emotions associated with the vulnerability. And when I did this challenge, and it wasn't even a challenge, I just was consistent in my mission. And before I knew it, I had 30 videos posted in 30 days. And then I'm like, oh, wow, that's quite an accomplishment. So what I found is shame and guilt were things hidden underneath me not wanting to be vulnerable. And as I became more vulnerable through this 30 days, those negative emotions surfaced and I had to actually look at them and understand that I will experience shame based off of the opinions of others. I might feel guilt over what I'm saying, over what I've done, and especially in videos like this where I am fully being raw because I'm not showing up any way other than how I'm feeling today. There's a lot of shame and guilt that can come with that. And so this has been a wonderful journey for me to be able to really feel into those feelings and see them come up. And now I have a deeper relationship with them. So when those things come up in conversations with people in my future, I'll be able to explore them without judgment. And ultimately, if we want to get to a higher frequency, shame and guilt have to get released. Number two, the biggest resistance comes from people closest to you. So, my urge to stop, it only happened about 2 times, because I've really stepped into my power recently, and through that, the 30 days was, I would say, relatively easy in comparison to the past because my capacity has expanded. But I did have a couple times when I had people when I would post videos, I would feel really shitty, and what I found was I felt really shitty because the people who I associated in my relationships as, the closest to me and, those that provided comfort, some of them, not all of them, would come out of the woodwork and in some way, shape, or form try and tell me that what I was doing was wrong, that it wasn't safe. that it wasn't okay, that they disagreed with what I said. And I've always understood this because when I left nursing, the coworkers that I had that I was in the trenches with, the majority of them did not want me to leave. And that's what we refer to as crabs in the bucket. When you go to climb out of the bucket, most of the crabs are going to try and pull you back in. It's the really true and awesome crab that goes, you know what, buddy? I'm going to just throw myself into the whole entire herd to try and knock them back so you can get out of that bucket. And I'm going to watch you swim away and I'm going to be happy for you. Very rare, but they exist. And I believe we can all reach that state where we care about other people to the extent of, even if it doesn't benefit us, for them to shine, even if it makes us feel less than, we still root for them because we want them to win and we know that it will allow us to rise to an even higher level if we want to go after it. So some people say they support you until you actually rise. This was really hard for me. I learned this. There's people I've looked up to. There's people I've pedestalized. When I really went in my power in many areas of my life, I noticed that the people that I was looking up to actually had probably the biggest problem with it. The only people who have really been there for me have never had a problem when I've stepped into my power. If they did, they usually didn't say anything, and then maybe we have a conversation later. But they never tried to impede. And this goes back to those who are beneath you will throw stones. Those who are above you don't have time to throw stones. And so I'm not saying I'm above anyone, but I noticed when I stepped into my power, any dynamic that I had where maybe the person had a little bit higher energy than me, when I got into a higher energy than them, they weren't there to support me. And that was really interesting to explore kind of the power dynamics that can exist in relationships. And it's only given me clarity as to how I want to show up in my relationships in the future, and also the standard that I'm going to have for my friends and my close ones. I've had to set an immense amount of boundaries around people who are trying to tell me that I can't do what I'm here to do, which is speak raw, vulnerably, and truthful as I am in this very moment. Doesn't mean that anything I said is going to be permanent truth. It doesn't even mean that it is true. There's a lot of things that I say that if you fact check them, they might be wrong. And I'm okay with that. If you come back to me and you send me an article on, I said something about health, and you send me something and I read about it and I was wrong, I'll be the first to be like, thank you. I'm going to start implementing this. But there are some people who have a very hard time making that change, because change for some people is very hard, but change is the only thing that's permanent. So if you want to be on the bus to victory, then you have to get on the bus of change, being okay with change, being comfortable with it, and really wanting to move forward. Number 3, self-talk is everything. I noticed my inner dialogue completely changed. On the days that were hard for me, I was showing up in better ways than, or at the same level as I would in the past, where I was at a high frequency, which means my new state is at a higher frequency even when I'm low. And when we advance in our spiritual practices, and our ability to hold space for ourselves, and our ability to coach ourselves to say, hey, I know you're feeling bad today, let's move through that, versus I feel like shit and I don't want to do anything, and you get into a spiral. I still get into spirals from time to time, but now I have a relationship with myself from these 30 days of like, we don't need to go there. You may not feel good, but you want to do this, so do it. Let's do it. And so I didn't really feel like riding my bike to the park and shooting this video, but I got it done. And by the way, if the kids are super loud in this video, I'm sorry, but it is a reminder to go hit your local playground and hang out around some kids and watch how much fucking fun they're having. They're just talking shit to each other, going on the slide, doing whatever they want. They're not thinking about um their next bill. And I know as adults we have responsibilities and stuff, but why can't everything we're doing have some joy, have some fun? And that's a point I didn't write down, but in these videos I stopped caring about hitting metrics and numbers and I cared more about, this is something that I have passion about, and I'm just gonna do it regardless. And someone that I know who has a very successful YouTube channel in terms of metrics told me, treat this like a hobby. Obviously, you're a professional, but treat it like a hobby, as in something that you enjoy doing. And if it blows up, cool, but be detached from if it doesn't blow up. And that has helped me significantly, because we can only take action, and we cannot dictate how the world responds to us. We can only take action, and then we get to watch how the world responds. This brings us to point number 4. Consistency is easier when you're having fun. So I used to make these super polished videos. I used to pay video editors. I'd pay them good amount of money, and I spent a lot of time doing delegation, and I would spend a lot of time trying to do market research to figure out the best title for my video. And I would spend a lot of time doing all these things to try and get the best video so that I could pop off and make a bunch of money or get a bunch of views and build an audience. Well, what was the key ingredient that was missing from all of that? That is super important. I wasn't having fun. And so what ended up happening when I started doing this 30-day challenge, which was only maybe 35 days ago. Man, these kids are really going to ruin this video, aren't they? Fuck it. I just started having fun. I said, you know what? I'm going to just go out in nature and smoke a cigar and enjoy myself and just talk to the camera. No having to do heavy polishing, no having to worry about thumbnails, no having to worry about titles, no having to worry about scripting. And you know what? It's been quite interesting, because I may not be getting as much views as I've gotten on other videos, but I'm getting the right people to connect with me. I'm getting the right people to see my stuff. And through this process of evolution of me having more and more fun and being a more fun person and reconnecting to the fact that I'm already very fun, and all I need to do is express that more and stop hiding it, what ends up happening is I attract more fun people into my life. I attract more fun experiences. I attract more fun things. And it's because I'm putting fun as a value instead of, oh, I got to do this video to make money so that I can put bread on the table for my family. Is that all important? Is it responsibility? Yeah. But if you're having fun doing it, how much easier is it for you to have a fulfilling life if you say, I'm going to do this every day, even if I don't get paid? I know so many people who are successful. Frederick Dodson's a great example. This guy wrote every day for 10 years, and he didn't get paid once. Now he has over 25 books. The guy's making passive income on a daily basis. He's got all these clients all the time, very high level people, and he lives an incredible life. And it's because he just had fun writing and just said to himself, I'm just going to keep doing this, and eventually I'll become successful. So follow the fun. This leads us to purpose. Number 5, purpose follows action. So I used to have a lot of takes on finding your purpose, and I know it's a buzzword and a buzz topic that a lot of people care about. How do I find my purpose? Well, you don't find your purpose finds you. And how do you allow your purpose to find you? Well, you get out of the way by taking action. So instead of being focused on outcomes, what do I want? How do I get it? Is that important to have a goal? Yeah, absolutely. But focus instead on action, action, action. If you take action consistently every single day, doing the thing that's most fun for you, what's going to end up happening? You're going to experience challenges. You're going to experience setbacks. You're going to get real world feedback from reality that shows you the things that you get to work on, you choose to work on, in order to become a more actualized version of yourself. When you become more actualized and you raise to a higher frequency, your purpose unfolds. You get a phone call from someone you didn't talk to for a long time, and you have a wonderful conversation, and they end up becoming a client, or they offer to fly you out to go do something, or you become best friends. It doesn't matter what it is, but the purpose of your life doesn't need to be written down on a vision board. Is it important to have some form of like an ability to envision what you want so that you can go out and get it? Yes, absolutely. But for the more intuitive people who prefer to live their life in a less structured way, where you're not just trying to make money so that you can buy a house and keep up with the Joneses, you want to find something that deeply gives you passion every single day, and you're looking for that thing. Well, just take action on what gives you enjoyment now. Through that consistent action, your purpose unfolds. Number 6, vulnerability wins, even when you least expect it. So I got some coaching from some powerful people that told me a hard lesson for me was trying to be so polished and do things in a way in which I thought society wanted so that I could get the outcome. And society is really sick of this polish that people are trying to put on. And I put it on for a long time, and it was a mask. And I thought that would get me what I wanted, but what I ultimately wanted was deep connection with other people. And in order to get that, we have to remove all of our masks. We have to be able to be okay showing up extremely vulnerably, which means, hey, I don't feel very good right now, but I'm showing up anyway. I feel like dog shit right now, but here I am. Letting people know exactly where we're at. And with these videos, I've become more connected with myself than ever because I've been more vulnerable than ever. And so the vulnerability has allowed me to see the wounds that I've had and my fear of being visible and all of the fears that are really irrational. One great quote, let me find it right now. Just give me 1 second. About fear is, fear profits man nothing. This comes from the 13th Warrior. One of the Vikings said it. Fear profits man nothing. The things that you're afraid of are the things that you're meant to go into. If you're afraid of showing and expressing yourself vulnerably, go into it. Just see what happens. Fuck around and find out. There's no worse feeling than not being vulnerable. I saw a beautiful woman today at the grocery store. I wanted to go up and talk to her. Going up and talking to a stranger is very vulnerable. And I didn't do it. And what ended up happening, I've been thinking about her all day. And I haven't just been thinking about her. I've been thinking about how different could my life be if I would have just stepped into my fear and put my own bullshit out of the way and just experience a moment in the present in which I couldn't control it. That's what talking to a girl is. You walk up and you talk to a stranger and you can't control anything. You can't force an outcome. You can only see what happens. And so I was more mad. I won't even say mad. Let's say disappointed, even worse. Had shame around not having the courage and not doing that for myself because I was focused on the outcome. If I were in that situation now, after processing this on this video right now, I would just do it and just go up and see what happens. Number 7, visibility triggers inner conflict, which strengthens your connection to self. So when you're visible and vulnerable, you're going to say things, you're going to be told things from other people that you're being too much. They don't like this thing about you. Ultimately, your shadow is going to come out. And these past 30 days have really allowed me to connect so deep to the parts of myself, the dark parts that were unseen, and the dark parts that I didn't want to see. And this whole process has allowed it to come up. This is the highest form of self-love you can give for yourself, is doing deep shadow work. You want to do deep shadow work? Post a video on Facebook right now talking about your opinion about politics. post a video on Facebook right now talking about your opinion on religion, on sex, on anything that people have a disagreement with, and everything you can find will have a disagreement from someone. I've posted incredible videos, all from a place of love and truth and wanting to share what I've been going through. And I've had people just try and throw sticks and stones and snakes at me. And it's a reflection of where they're at. Not only are you doing a great service for yourself of having to go into the darkness that you're afraid to see, but you also trigger other people. And I think this is one of the big fears that a lot of people have is, I know I had it, being afraid to make people uncomfortable, because then it causes conflict. When people are really uncomfortable, they'll reach out to you and they'll tell you. They'll tell you how they feel. And then you have to deal with it. And what happens when you deal with it enough is you can set boundaries and you can tell people, no, like we can disagree and I value our relationship, but this is where I'm at. And and they have no choice but to respect you. They may not agree with you, they may get pissed at you, but they will respect you. And respect is respect must be earned. And it's earned when you're stepping into parts that people don't want to go to. Number 8, faith is a muscle and so is flow. These come from courage. So I've had a deeper connection to God because of the muscle of showing up every day. And I've also gotten into very deep flow states where I've been able to shoot 4 videos in a day and get all of them uploaded on YouTube within a couple hours. Deep flow states where it's the only thing I'm doing and I'm super present. And it's a wonderful feeling. But you experience flow and you experience connection to God when you step into courage. When you do the thing that you're afraid of, when you feel the fear and you walk into it anyway, like I was talking about with walking up to a beautiful woman, that will grant you the keys to the kingdom because you develop a new relationship with yourself. You develop a new relationship of, oh, I'm afraid to do this thing because I've never done it before, or it's a new situation and I don't feel confident. This is where confidence comes from. Stepping into things we fear long enough to be able to go, oh, yeah, I'm going to be okay regardless. Why not just try? Number 9, what I learned is I'm here to be a lighthouse, not a chameleon. So I've just by being more authentic, I have repelled some people that used to be a part of my life, and that's okay. Ultimately, I've connected more deeply to my purpose of being able to be a light, and not in the term of being a light worker or anything like that. Just to be a beacon when people are in a storm, um, when people are in turbulent emotions, when they're going through hardship, they can watch my videos and they can see how I'm showing up in the world and how I'm speaking and how I'm conveying myself and how I'm embodying what I talk about. And they can go, he did it, I can too. And so anyone that wants to get in between that, any storm that's trying to break my light is actually a storm that's trying to put me back into an old identity that I no longer want to be, which is a chameleon, which is putting on a mask in order to try and get something. Whereas now, I'm showing up in a way where I'm just being myself and I'm learning more about who I want to be and who I actually am. And through this, I'm no longer a chameleon. And through no longer being a chameleon, anyone who is in my life who accepted the chameleon Logan, who no longer accepts the new Logan, is just not meant to be in my life anymore. That was an older chapter. But my mission is more clear. My purpose is more clear than ever because I've continued to take action through courage by showing up on these videos. And I've been able to have more confidence in myself of being able to share and knowing not for sake of getting anything out of it, but knowing that through me doing this, other people can do it too. And that brings us to number 10. I proved to myself I can do hard things. I've done many hard things in my life. This 30 days actually wasn't an extremely challenging thing like nursing school or like being a freshman on the varsity water polo team or having my coach scream at me every single day, or doing really hard shit with friends. Um, because what I realize is this 30 days actually came much more simply because I did so much work on myself before by being consistent. And as I said in the beginning of the video, you will fall off. You will hurt yourself when you fall off the horse. You may get a little bit bruised. You may get a little bit beat up. You might break a bone. But the most important thing when you break a bone is not to go, I'm afraid of that thing. It's to remember that you love doing that thing and you broke your bone for whatever reason. And maybe you made a mistake. Maybe there was just an accident that occurred. But because you love the thing so much, you're going to get back on the horse. It wasn't the horse's fault. It wasn't anyone's fault. Maybe you had some responsibility in it, but having that compassion for yourself to go, I'm going to be consistent no matter what. And even if I fall off, the best thing I can do is just get back on the next day. And if I miss the next day, I'm going to go through those emotions. I've had many times where I've been super consistent and then I fall off, and I told everyone that I knew that I was going to do this thing, and then they're watching me and I'm not doing it. And it's a reminder for them that if they put themselves out there and they say they're going to do something and they don't hold themselves accountable, well, it looks bad. People will not trust you as much. But if you do that consistently enough over time, you become a consistent person, and then you become more trustworthy. So for me, more than anything, I'm not doing this to become more trustworthy for others. I'm doing this so that I can trust myself. And and through the self-trust I have, I can be more of a beacon. I can be more of a light. So that's that. If you guys want to connect with me in any form, I share more health stuff on X. My platforms, I'm trying to work on getting them all integrated. This channel right now, I have health videos if you go back through old times. But in the past 33 days or whatever it's been mostly about talking about stuff like this and masculinity and all these other concepts of connecting deeper to ourselves. So if you're interested in taking part in this work, not like I'm coaching you, but with me as I go through my own journey, and other guys that I know that are in the Ubuntu Fellowship, which is our men's community, are going through it as well. If you want to join us on that ride, the monthly fee, 50% of that goes back to philanthropy. So we do philanthropic missions within communities. So we're not just a group that is saving money on taxes through the guise of charity. And then two, through all of this, we get to show up more vulnerably for ourselves and with other men, and through that, we become stronger men. We become better people, and we become more connected to where we're supposed to be, where we want to go. And ultimately, what matters the most is we're having a lot of fucking fun. So if you guys want to join us, consider applying. Comment anything below if you feel called to. Much love. I'll see you in the next one. Late.